Drinking Beer with Don, the final episode for this year. Yes, we're into the final stretch. We've only got four beer left. And so today, then, logically would be beer number 21. It is the 21st of December. So let's see what we got today. I get a whiff of hops. It's got some sourness to it. I snuck that sour in. Okay. So for all I'm getting is sour. And sour fruit. Sour citrus. And a bit of something odd that I don't recognize. Not a surprise. Don't have the world's greatest palate. It's not a beer I'm going to find easy to finish. So you already know where my scoring is going to go. I'm not getting much hops. Some. Mild. All I'm getting is sour. Well, you know what? 6.5. That's how much I like it. Let's find out what we got. Okay. Brassneck. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. And it's a Saison. Farmhouse Saison. It's not like a Saison I've had before. Brassneck Brewery in Vancouver. On Main Street, actually. Beer is called Stockholm Syndrome, and it's listed as a foudre conditioned farmhouse saison. A couple French words in there that I'll explain. The foudre is an oak barrel, type of oak fermenting bin, and a saison is a type of beer. It depends on the yeast you use. So, 6.5% alcohol, IBU's not available, and the can and the website say this. We kidnapped a saison, held it hostage for several months in our foudre, letting it sit and condition on Brettanomyces. I think that's a type of yeast, but I'm guessing. The more time passed, the more it started to like us. It rewarded us by tasting delicious. Stockholm Syndrome can be a beautiful thing. Now, the website goes on to say this is one of the first beer that they created in 2013 when this brewery was established. Also, interestingly enough, somebody on Untapped, this is a beer rating website, said that they're surprised how tart it has become because it didn't used to be that way. So something's going on. When I think about it, now that I know it's a Saison, I go, okay, now I'm starting to get that weird flavor that's going on because Saisons, some liken the flavor to Barnyard. I mean, I know, but Saisons have a distinct, unique flavor to them. And that flavor is there. So not my favorite, but that flavor is there, but it's masked by how tart it is. So, interesting. Not going to change my score because really I don't like it that much. If it was less tart, I'd probably like it a lot more. If you're in Vancouver, check out the brewery. They seem to have a lot of interesting things on tap there. But I cannot recommend this particular Saison. As I say, if they've done something to it that is, in my opinion, killed it. 3 beer to go. This is the 22nd of December, beer number 22. There's that lovely sound. Cracking a can. Oh, it's a dark one. Oh, and in fact, the foam is dark. This has potential just from the looks. Not much head. Oh, it's rich, whatever it is. It's thick. It's pouring like a syrup. All right, what do we got? It smells strong. It smells rich. I don't smell hops as much as I smell roasted malt and maybe some vanilla. Anyway, let's try it and see what we got. Wow. Wow. This is rich. Just looking at as I was pouring it, I thought it was going to be rich, and it is. It's very rich. Oh, it's good. Definitely get coffee and chocolate. And this one is tingling in my tongue. It makes me think it might be a little strong. I'm already thinking this is in the 9s. Why does Cascadia make me wait for so long to get a beer like this? Oh yeah. It's also complex. There's several things going on with the roast and the chocolate and the thickness and It's a little sweet. It's a little bitter too. It's hard to describe. It's, wow. I don't know how many times I've said, gee, I wonder if this is a stout. I'm hesitating to say it again, but what if it is? That'd be cool. I might even get it right. Oh yeah, this might be one of my favorite ones so far. Of course, I am partial to dark beer. This is true. I'm definitely getting coffee and chocolate. Oh, I'm looking forward to finding out what this one is. Score goes, it's my favorite so far. So I'm going to give it a 9.3. Da-da-da. Let's see what we got. Da-da-da. I got one right! In fact, it's an Imperial Stout. It's coffee and donuts. Imperial Stout. I was pretty close. From Steamworks. Okay, before I get into telling you exactly about this beer, I realized there's a couple things I'm going to update you on. Yesterday, I had my 100th dive scuba diving for the year. So 100 dives in 1 year, average about 2 a week. Not bad, eh? The other thing is, my buddies gave me or fed my Christmas light addiction. If you haven't seen some of my Christmas lights, there's a link at the top for you to click on if you want. So now I have a beaver to add to the moose and the bear and the deer and the trees and the peacocks and everything else I got for Christmas lights. So thanks, guys. It's awesome. So now let's get on to the beer. This amazing beer is from Steamworks, and I know this brewery well. I've been to it several times. They also have amazing food in Vancouver, right in Gastown. Great place. If you ever go into Vancouver, you must stop at Steamworks. Absolutely. The beer is called Coffee and Donuts, and it is an Imperial Stout. I've talked about Imperial Stouts before when I was guessing. Imperial means it's, at the top of the pole. It means it's extra strong, and this one is 10% alcohol. IBUs are 40, and the can and the website, well, actually the website goes on to say this. This double mashed behemoth of a stout is our homage to the most important meal of the day, donuts. Who would have thought? Literal tons of rich malts were used to create a base of toasty, biscuity, dough-like flavor. We had the Bean Wizards at Modus roast us a beautiful coffee to cold extract into the beer. And if that wasn't enough, we processed hundreds of vanilla beans along with a sprinkle of both toasted and untoasted coconut to round out the flavor. Grab your favorite fritter, cruller, or donut and treat yourself. Don't know if how well this is known around the world, but Canadians are donut fanatics. In fact, we've had Tim Hortons donuts for decades, and it used to be the hangout place and I certainly grew up with going to Timmy's to hang out. Donuts, good. So I really, really like this beer. I keep sipping it and going, oh my God, this is good. I'm going to raise the score. It is a 9.4. I love this beer. We are getting near the end. This is the second last day. Number 23, December 23rd, beer 23. Right. Hazy, I smell citrus right away and hops. Actually rather intense. And it's hazy. Reminds me of the first few beer we had in the calendar as far as the start. Let's see what we got. It's actually quite good. It's definitely on the stronger side as far as flavor goes. It's, I guess it's citrus, but I also get a smoothness to it. The flavor is quite intense, actually. It might be one of the better IPAs, for example, that I've had. Refreshing, for sure. Smooth, flavorful. This is not a beer for guzzling. It's actually for one enjoying. Even though it's a lighter on the color, it's not a light beer by any stretch of the imagination. I quite like it. It even tastes a little creamy, oddly enough. This is definitely, it's not as good as it's not in the nines. It's not as good as the oh my God beer, but this is really strongly, it's got a strong flavor to it. I mean, a strong showing. I really quite like it. Trying to come up with more words for it. This is for strong, refreshing, a lot of rich flavor, a little hoppy, citrus, but in a very well balanced way. Some of the first beers in the calendar, they were just hops and citrus. This has got so much more going on, and it's well balanced. It's got it all. 8.7. That's what I'm going to give it. Let's see what we got. It's called beer. with an E at the end. It's a cold IPA. Well, I got the IPA right. Beer with an E Brewing Company out of North Vancouver. The beer is called Be Bold, Start Cold. That's the name of the beer. It's on the can. I just skimmed over that. I thought that was just a hype. And it's a type of beer is called a cold IPA. What that means is it's actually brewed at cooler temperatures. 6.9% alcohol, so a little on the stronger side, and I get that. Couldn't find IBUs for it. So the can and the website both say this: we brewed up this nice little cold IPA with plenty of Citra and Mosaic. Those are our hops. In dry hop, corn, and rice in the mash to keep it light and crispy, and cool yeast that makes it taste really, really cool. Yup, don't layer up at the truck. Take it off. Be cold, start cold. No, sorry, be bold, start cold. That doesn't mean start cold to me. And please enjoy this beer. You know, I get all that. That description is quite good. Now that they mentioned the corn, okay, there's a bit of that. I guess I was going to say a bit other flavor. The Mexican, it really adds to the roundness of the flavor, and so does having rice in it and makes it a little crisper. So, wow, that's very creative. I think this is a great beer. Definitely, I can recommend this one. I'm hoping you can find it on the shelves. It seems to be one of their mainstay beers at the brewery, which started in 2017 when I read their quick blurb. So it hasn't been around for a long, long time. They call themselves in the brewery district of North Vancouver. Check out this beer brewing, and this beer in particular, this Be Bold, Start Cold beer. I quite like it. Well, this is it. Last beer in the Cascadia Beer Advent Calendar. Today is December 24th. And beer number 24. Almost sad to see the calendar end. It's got dark foam. Not as dark as the Imperial Stout, mind you. Actually, maybe it's more red. It smells a little sweet. This foam smells a little spicy, maybe. Maybe we got a Christmas beer. Let's find out. Oh, it's definitely rich and creamy. It's a little bitter. It's definitely spiced. And I'm thinking it is a Christmas beer. Which is appropriate, isn't it? I get caramel. And I want to say cinnamon. I taste something a little piquant. It reminds me of a sweater weather beer. It came out of Port Alberni. Just reminds me of that. I'm really liking it. It's round on the tongue. It's got a bit of tickling, so it might be a little strong, but it doesn't taste as strong as the Imperial Stout. But the flavor is still quite generous. Definitely this would be a beer you want to drink at Christmas. It doesn't go necessarily for the rest of the year. You just got to get in the right mindset for it. But I really like it. I'm trying to think if I like it as much as the other, the 9.4, which so far the Imperial Stout is the highest ranked beer I've given so far. This is close. It's almost tied, but I think I might like the other one just a bit more. 9.3. Give the score 9.3. Let's see what we got. It is spiced. It's called The Quiet Man, and it's called a Stroopwafel Hurstbuck from Harold Street Brewworks out of Victoria, British Columbia. The beer is codename The Quiet Man, and it's listed as a Stroopwafel Hurstbuck. So it's 6.5% alcohol. Couldn't get the IBUs. The can goes on to say, and the website goes on to say, dripping with caramel and soft vanilla. Cinnamon and earthly old world hops help balance out this dessert beer. A 2-hour boil gives a big mouthfeel and deep, dark, roasty notes. So I got all that. In fact, I even got the cinnamon and the caramel right. And here's the part that gets a little bit clamped. It goes in tribute to Henry Holstein, codenamed The Quiet Man. So I did a bit of research on that. And it starts to explain all the other things that I'm going to tell you about. Goes back to the Second World War in the Netherlands. Oh, by the way, I'm half Dutch, so I'm starting to feel this. The Nazis occupied the Netherlands right near the beginning of the Second World War. And they subjected the Dutch, as they did to many other occupied people, to a lot of terrible things, including what they did to the Jewish population. Henry Holstein harbored, protected, was instrumental in keeping many of the Jews alive and protected from the Germans. So this beer is dedicated after him. Stroopwafel, it's a confection you have with coffee. It is actually very caramel flavored waffle about this big. You put it on top of your coffee cup. The heat from the coffee melts it a bit and it gets gooey. It's so yummy. Carolyn just reminded me, we have stroopwafels, so I can show you one. Got my stroopwafel tin. This is so cool. And this, ta-ta-ta, is a stroopwafel. Carolyn and I loved these while we were living in Belgium. There's the story behind this beer. Very good beer, very good seasonal beer. And the score 9.3 remains. This brings to a close this year's Drinking Beer with Don. The annual parade of beer from the worst to the best, in my opinion. We had a good selection of beer this year. We had some great lighter ales, some pilsners, some steam beers, some wheat ales. We had great selection of dark beers, stouts, porters, some Belgian dark ales. We had the pale ales, we had the IPAs, we had some creative beers, including the beer that thought it was a cocktail. We definitely had some experimentation going on. The stroopwafel beer, for example. The mid-8s and higher, you definitely got a good selection like you see here with the wheat beer, the Owl Train Porter, the dark Cascadia Dark Ale, even the Rainbow Peaks Belgian Blonde. Fabulous. Really like that cold IPA, but now we're getting into the top ones. The Dark Side of the Sun, the Red Irish Beer with coffee, the Quiet Man with the stroopwafels, and the Coffee and Donuts. All excellent, rich, wonderful beer. Now the statistics are very much like last year. My average score was 8.1, so I guess I'm consistent in that respect. Interesting point is that of the 24 beer, 12 are from the Greater Vancouver area, 6 are from Vancouver Island. Yet of the top 3, 2 of them are from the island. I think the craft breweries on Vancouver Island, still, I've got the edge. They're doing very well, in my opinion. But overall, once again, a great selection. Really enjoyed the beer this year. You may recall, if you were tuned in at the beginning, that I was a little disappointed with the first few beer. Thankfully, thanks to Cascadia, things ramped up, and the last few beer have been marvelous. So my hat's off. Thank you, Cascadia, for putting on, once again, an excellent beer advent calendar. I love it, and I look very much forward to what you'll do next year. May you all have a very Merry Christmas, enjoy the new year, and cheers!